Hey guys, Phil here. We fast forwarded this episode. We just recorded this with Michelle, but thought it was timely to put this out because Bram, who was the founder of Shelfgram, announced today that Shelfgram had been acquired by Fieldagent. We love both these organizations, and there's a huge congratulations to Bram, who, in his big brain and kind of how he sees the world, has put together this wonderful tool. And then, having folks at Fieldagent who are doing equally amazing things at Fieldagent acquire this seems like such a perfect match. So congratulations to Shelfgram, Bram, the team at Shelfgram, and then also to Jeff Doucette and the folks at Fieldagent, and what it means is so fantastic. So we thought we put Michelle out tonight. That seems very timely based on Bram's kind of announcement today. Hi.
Hey, Phil.
How are you?
Good.
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 Long time no see.
I know. Friday, almost the weekend.
It's lovely. So what's going on? I saw pictures the other day. You and your little missus there was out.
At the women's entrepreneurial event?
Yeah, you're doing some outside event. I don't know what the hell you guys were the two of you were doing. You're out running with her, or she's out running with mom. I'm not too sure which way that was going.
Oh, Blake and I. Oh, yeah, we did Mud Girl Race.
Who cares about work?
Yes. So Blake's my daughter. She's 10 years old. And I'm really into sports and fitness and stuff. And so when I'm training and like trying to stay fit, I'm always thinking so I can do races with my kids someday if she's into it. And so I saw this Mud Girl Race where it's 5K, 17 obstacles. Yeah. And you get so muddy. So I'm like, oh yeah, 10-year-old's going to love this. And we just had the best time. Like, I just have this vivid memory of looking over at her when we just got splashed in the face with mud, and her smile like from ear to ear. And awesome. So, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's so empowering for a kid to be able to finish something like that and to do it together.
Why not? Why
not? Yeah. I play a lot of sports with my middle daughter. She's 18, but she and I, we share a lot of sports. So we play tennis together, we play badminton together, we play touch football together. Like, so it's, I totally get that. Like, it's an awesome thing.
Did she get home?
Yeah, she got home. Last night was Rachel's prom.
Oh.
So, and her friends were out pretty late last night.
So you get home at the crack of dawn? Not too bad.
I had to keep mom calm a little. But
Were they home before the sun came up?
Yeah, she was home 3.
It was not too bad.
Yeah, 3:30, so it wasn't too bad. So.
That's just a good poker night.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's good. They had a lot of fun, so it's good.
I remember those ones too. I remember coming home when my dad was going to work. Good morning.
Yeah.
He'd be going to work and I'd be going to bed.
Well, that doesn't happen normally, right? So this one, I had to spend a couple of weeks conditioning my wife to look. This is the one. We don't ask questions, and we don't. It's okay. Like,
as long as they're safe, it's all good on the head.
It's okay. Yeah.
All good on the head.
Yeah.
Aww.
Oh man.
Nice.
You suck. You're amazing, and you suck all at the same time, because you get to work at Shelfgram and you get to work with Bram.
Yes. And you're jealous?
Yeah, totally.
Just a little, maybe.
Yeah.
But not really, because just in case Bram listens, but no.
I like Bram. I actually got to work with him, right? Like,
me too, but I like him too, but I don't want to think we like
partner, right? So
but you don't want to make his head get too big.
No, but I have to say, I've never met anyone like him in my entire life, where he can process information at this incredible speed, like obviously very intelligent, but then is so equally intelligent in emotional intelligence. Like, he's the full package, which usually you're really high in one or the other. But to have this balanced approach, he's just fire. So so thankful to have met him and now get to work with him. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
He is, yeah. He's like, I met him when he was just an ABM, and he was like that then too. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was always like that, right? So you kind of like always knew, oh, this guy's gonna do some cool things, right? Like, he's doing cool things. So it's awesome. Like,
and just the ideas, not just for our business, but any topic, just full of so many ideas on how to change the world, make it better. So it's super inspiring to be around.
That's so cool.
I know.
Yeah. And then what's it like for you? Because this is a little bit new for you, right? Because you're like from packaged goods to kind of a service.
And mostly in the selling side of the packaged goods, right?
So
like, I mean, I'm over 20 years now in more classic CPG, and then pivoted into this world of tech kind of at the end of last year. And it's been interesting seeing how the two worlds differ. I'm in a good spot because the tech I work on takes all of those years of learning, and I'm able to apply those. But there's like a lot of things that are drastically different that I enjoy between the two. So, I mean, there's even, one, the speed, right? Like, we are launching new versions of the platform almost every week. And as we have new ideas, or consumers give us ideas, or customers give us ideas, we're able to, either put them in the roadmap and move them along, or we can, message that day, and the product dev team gets it done and it's launched. The next day I'm able to email the customer back and be like, oh yeah, you wanted to see this? Here you go. Like, in classic CPG, that product,
that's 12 months,
lucky
right?
In
that's
the
12 months
year.
if you're lucky, right? So
lucky in the same year, calendar year. Jeez.
And even like the revenue model, right? So with classic CPG, we're more transactional. I mean, of course we build relationships, but feels more like selling. Whereas in SaaS, feels more relationship, because it is usually annual contracts or multi-year contracts. And it's about like annual reoccurring revenue instead of these months and hits of products. So I like that too. I think, my strategy and my whole career, and I mean, you guys have seen this, like, I think the reason I was successful is that I always came from this pure spot of really wanting to help my customer. And I mean, I'm still good friends with so many people who I was selling to, but I think because I didn't feel like I was selling, I was trying to build this relationship, like honestly trying to make their lives better and easier somehow. We became friends after the fact. And then with the tech world, I feel like I'm really thriving, because you kind of take all of that skill set I've been building over the years that is just genuine and honest, but now it gets applied into, instead of customer support or account management, we call it customer success in tech. And it's this longer process of building relationships and making sure they're successful with the product. And I really, really enjoy that. It's subtle difference, but then also has huge impact at the same time on the business.
It was that was going to a software company. It was surprising at how fast we could move, like how fast dev teams move. Like, I don't know if you guys have done that. Like, when I was in tech, we saw, like, our dev team decided the programming language they were using was too slow, or not, it wasn't flexible enough. And so they all decided they were going to move to a new language. And they did it in like 2 days. They're like, okay, so you can read up here. Here's some examples in a, what do they call it? I think it's a GitHub, like, where they kind of keep like all the examples and everything. Then like 2 days later, they're like, okay, everybody good. So tomorrow morning we're going to start. And you're like, what the hell just happened? Like, I live in a country where I'm supposed to be bilingual. I'm still not bilingual. You guys learned a whole new language in 2 days, and you're going to start writing code like that? Like, it's craziness, right? I'm always amazed by that.
the speed at which things can change. And I mean, that's one of the things that happened really quickly lately, Phil, is what you and I connected on, was our Shelfgram for Students program. And so that came out of, it's intern season. So we would have different interns reach out from the companies that they're working for over the summer. And I was training a group of 7 interns, and they were so engaged, and like you could see their eyes being opened, and just, wow, like this is such a superpower for me. Yeah. And so then in our weekly debrief meeting, I was mentioning it to the wider team, and one of the guys on our team was like, oh, we should have like Shelfgram for Students. And literally the next day we had the site stood up. BRAM had listed over 2,000 universities. And I mean, it's just such a great way to grow, because we're helping these students hopefully nail their interviews, set them up for success and to shine within their roles. And then perhaps as they grow in their career, they'll always remember this tool they had, that they're like, hey, I need this in my job. And then perhaps, it's a way to grow within them. So yeah, but it was literally days from the idea to stood up to having, so many students signed up on the platform. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. There's so many examples like that where the speed is so exciting.
I love it. We should do an intro. So we have Michelle Mckay-Prychidny. Is that right?
Yes. Good one.
Awesome. I got it. And we've known Michelle a while. I think Kenny's known Michelle even longer than I have. But she's super jealous. If you heard the beginning of this, is she's had some amazing jobs in her life, but she's also working with this amazing guy named Bram at Shelfgram. And if you guys know us, we're fans of Shelfgram. We think it's kind of a quintessential tool that you need in retail. If you're going to be in this industry, if you don't know Shelfgram, you should be on it. And then what makes us love these guys even more is, and what prompted this call was, a LinkedIn post that led to, Michelle being here is that they did release Shelfgram for retail, Shelfgram for students, which is
pretty cool.
Which is really cool. I think there's so few tools for students that want to be in either CPG or in retail. That they can use, to have you guys, and then to be able to teach what I think are still fundamentals, right? Like, what happens at shelf, I think is really amazing, right? Like you guys,
it's a tool I wish we had. I mean, we didn't have, like, if you go back, this is the one, but like, you've been in the industry for 20, I think I've known you your whole career almost.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, did you just start at Genuine Health? Was that your first?
Oh, yeah. I guess I met you at, I always think Vega, but yeah, Genuine Health. Yeah. So, right. So, yeah, like 20 years.
Oh, my God. No kidding. I think you're my kid sometimes. I think I've watched your whole career.
Well, you helped me decide to have a kid, right?
Jesus.
Because you love your family so much.
Oh, my God. As soon as you said that, I think I've known her whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're old.
Yep.
You're old. What are you talking about? I just
wanted to get away from me being old. No, anyway, the thing was like when you start, there's so few tools in CPG when you start. Like, especially when we were all going through it. Even you, Michelle, like 20 years ago. What'd you have? Like, if you really want, like, if you had to go into an interview, you had to run around to 75 stores. Like, if you really wanted to know what the hell's going on, you pictures with what? I mean, we barely had phones.
No, I think
20 years ago, like, really, it's not like it's, I mean, we had them, but really, no. I think my first iPhone was 2009, so that's only 15 years. So, like, literally, I mean, the tool itself is pretty amazing that you can go in and actually, in essence, you can walk chains.
And folders full of flyers, right?
Oh,
all the different flyers in
because there was actually no apps at that time because there was no phones.
My kids love to read, but their first moment of reading weren't really reading because they would watch me every Thursday night. I would plunk myself by the in our kitchen on the floor by the sliding door where the recycling bin was outside. and I would just grab all of the stacks of flyers and I would go through. Like I enjoyed.
I was Saturday morning coffee was flyers.
And like the kids would watch and go, Daddy's reading, we'll sit and read with him, but they don't. I don't actually, to this day, I'm not sure that they actually know that I wasn't reading. I was looking at flyers. But they all love to read, right? Like, I remember, like you say, stacks of flyers, and I think like, oh God, like it's so long ago.
Yeah, and I remember being the hero if I had one of the flyers that my boss was missing, and I'd be like, "Oh, here it is." Like, I don't know. There was something about like needing to have every single flyer copy.
Well, Monday morning you'd go in and, hey, did you see that so and so was on ad?
Yeah. Oh, good thing we've solved for this, guys.
Yeah. Are there? I want to get to the student thing too, but I'm curious because you're in this and you're kind of fresh at it. Is there anything that surprised you when you got to Shelfgram? Like, I feel like every day we show somebody Shelfgram for the first time, and I'm still kind of like, why don't? How can you not? How can you not know this is here? Any surprise or aha moments for you that you're kind of like?
Well, I think surprising. There's a couple of different ways to go with this. So the thing that surprises me, or it delights me, I guess, is because I do most of the demos of the product. So I'm presenting to customers for the first time, and just to see the light bulbs go off as they're seeing the platform, because we do, a 30-minute demo and show them how everything's work. And you can just see they're in their minds, they're thinking of all of the applications, because I think you almost said it off the top, like we're supercharging the store check. And that's a really simple concept, right? We used to all get in a car or carpool, go to a store, spend the day, go around. And we got the most tremendous insights out of those store tours. And part of it was because we were there together to brainstorm and be like, hey, Phil, did you see this? Hey, Kenny, look at this. Then we go back to the office and we all have this ground truth understanding of what we saw. So now when we have a call where there's, sales, marketing, RevMan, insights, all on a call, and they're seeing these stores together, and then they start just pinging with these conversations about how they'll be able to use it. I mean, that, I guess, is surprising, but even more just a delight that we're able to offer this solution for them that really is a game-changing idea. And it kind of comes back to everyone being able to see store level execution, but the basics of the 4 Ps, right? It's so important to just
it's not rocket science, right?
Yeah. So
well, it's not supposed to be.
Well, it's not rocket science, and it's not supposed to be rocket science. We've just made it into a rocket science course.
There are moments that
that's just us as an industry.
Yeah, and then the other thing that surprised me is how well we're able to fill in that storytelling gap for companies. So if you imagine you have your shipment data, you have your POS data, and then it's a lot of people's job to try to figure out this story in the middle of those two. And that can be challenging, but we can solve for it because we're giving you the visuals. So the product left your warehouse. Then what happened after that? Are you having store level operational issues? Are you not having enough holding power on promo and you're driving volume to your competitors because you sold out? Like, whatever that story is, I find like that some of the magic we're creating for these brands is that storytelling ability. And I know it's cliche, but a story tells 1,000 words. And so showing the pictures that you find on Shelfgram just makes your story that much more impactful.
Well, I think that's because that's where the magic. It's not even the magic. That's where everything happens.
Yeah.
As much as we want to, you're looking at the sales and the marketing, you're looking at the rev, and you're doing all the talk and factory sales and POS sales. If you can't see it, well, it's numbers. They're important, but sometimes it's the visual. Like where is it? Is it out?
Yeah.
We have an ad. We just spent $10 million on an ad across the country. And you get, how do you know the signs went up? Especially in today's world, there's nobody in stores anymore.
Yeah.
Like this, so all of that. So like if you could have a quick repository where you could go and say, okay, can you check this quickly? Like, is shit actually happening?
Yeah. And because
is it in the planogram? Did the planogram actually get done?
Yeah, yeah. And because we have a representative sample, brands can see that, yeah, was the planogram executed? Or because we collect the display and off shelf, is my campaign being executed as
Exactly.
planned?
That's great. The display is up, no sign. You're thinking, well, I'll get lift, but I would have got 2 times lift if
not
with
helpful,
the
right?
damn
Especially if
sign.
I'm paying for the sign.
Well, you're paying
Yeah.
for all of it, as we all know that, and that's sometimes where consumers don't get it. All of that is bought. So a consumer, if you went into a store and paid $100 for groceries, but they only gave you $50 to take home, you'd be kind of pissed. Well, that's retail. That's our world all the time. You rarely get full execution. So if you can find tools like this where you sort of tighten it and get closer to even a 75, 80, 90%, you're thrilled.
Yeah. I know, for sure. So many applications through just visually seeing what's going on. I'm just gonna shut this.
It's all good.
There we go. Yeah, so what else is surprising? I think how fast it becomes like a right arm for a lot of our brands and customers, where we'd start off with a pilot that goes to an annual subscription, then that gets locked into a 3-year commitment because it becomes so ingrained in the company culture to monitor retail execution. So that was surprising just to see that adoption. And it's tough. Like, I believe wholeheartedly in it, and then to see others take it on and help winning in their business too, that was also a delightful surprise.
I guess because you also came from that. So if you went back like 10 years, 15 years, and you're in Vega, like what would you have done with it? Like, how would it changed? How would it have changed what you did? And you guys were doing well anyway, but now you've seen it.
Yeah. So we had pretty good retail coverage in natural channel. I think it would have been really helpful for seeing more into the FDM side of the business, just because there's more stores and harder to keep a handle on it. So I would have loved to have it back then, just to monitor that part of the business. And to your point, like, especially as you're ramping up as a company, you need every penny to be well spent. And, we all need that max ROI, but especially at that stage. So would have been really great for the campaign execution we talked about. And even, if you get a good handle on your 80%, what about that 20%? Because we're covering these rural locations, could a rep go on the platform, take a look at some stores that are in Timbuktu, right, that we would never get to, but carry our product and be able to say, hey, Mr. So-and-so at that retailer, I see you're running out of product. Do you want to place an order? I can have it there on Tuesday. So there could have been some kind of like last tail of the sales funnel.
I wonder if we have to we have assumed, because we all three know it. And we've had Bram on the show before, but we're making the assumption people actually know what Shelfgram is.
Yeah, let me back up.
Maybe it's even just to go back quickly. We're 23 minutes into this podcast.
We should do that, because I'm going to direct this, because I teach at Centennial College, so I'm definitely going to be sending this episode to the school as well, and then to students as well. So
23 minutes and they're thinking that's
great if you don't
mind. Why does this woman keep talking about this picture? What do they do?
Yeah.
Maybe just a quick one. Can you talk, Michelle? You work with Shelfgram. What is Shelfgram exactly?
Okay, I will share that. Okay, so at Shelfgram, we supercharge the store check. The way we do that is we have agents across the country collecting images in a representative sample of Canada based on whatever category we're collecting. So we aim to get to an 80% ACV or higher. We mostly collect on the weekends, so it's that busiest shopping day, so we can give our brands the ground truth, real of what consumers are seeing shopping. So then we take, we have hundreds, thousands, millions of photos now that we bring into Shelfgram, where we have a number of custom AIs that can help slice and dice the information and images into whatever query you're looking at. So whether you're doing a price audit on your brand or competitor across Canada, you're looking to see if a planogram has been executed, you just want to take a general walk through the category or the store and see, what's new, what's fresh. There's a whole host of ways. We recently launched a new on-shelf availability tool. So a brand can go and look and say, hey, show me all the shelves where the category is 50% in stock, fully in stock. And then because we are in these stores every single month, we have a set that are unique locations so that you're getting to see fresh stores, but then we'll also go to stores more than once. This gives us the ability to time travel. So we never get rid of any images. So say you're a cereal company, we have 3 years or more of data. So you can go and see how that planogram in that retailer has evolved over time, see the planogram changes, see the pricing changes, see new entrants, chronic out of stocks, store level operational products, issues. So it really is everything you would see in a store check. But the other thing is we have a suite of analytics to help support kind of pulling information out of the platform. But again, just in a nutshell, we supercharge the store check. We don't try to be anything more than that. We're not a consultancy. We kind of give you that ability to tell the story in the messy middle between shipments and POS. And the other neat thing, again, we talked about tech off the top is that we're constantly evolving as a product. And one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is the customer success side of this business. So maybe after we wrap up,
yes, please,
into that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think if I can add, for one is, I think this is something that the industry has always wanted. We have probably tried in our own old ass ways to do it and never succeeded. So I think having this tool is amazing. I think if you're a student and you're trying to learn retail, this is one of those places that you, particularly if you're a student and you don't understand banners, right? Because, for us old folks, that includes you, Michelle, is we understand banners, right? We understand what a Loblaws looks like. We understand what Longo's looks like. We can even extend out and think, what is a London Drugs? Or if you're only from central Ontario, for example, you can see what a London Drugs looks like all the way out west, or so and so forth, right? So for students, if you're trying to figure out what's what, Shelfgram is literally your bird's eye view at the store level, which I think is amazing, right? So, and then for little brands, for anyone who's kind of complaining that you don't have enough data, because every little brand doesn't have data. You have your own shipment data, which every buyer will tell you is useless. Shelfgram is it's like a little pot of gold, right? Because you can go week to week and try and figure out what your unit movement looks like. You can get reorders, which Michelle was kind of alluding to earlier. You can now call a store and say, what it looks like in the store, right? And get a new order.
Listen, your weekends, so you guys know, could be better. You're out of stock. We aren't.
I actually didn't know that we went in on weekends, which I think is amazing, right? It is the worst possible moment to take a picture of a brand, which is actually the best possible moment, right? Because that's what you look like at that moment, right? So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and we like to say too, because we have partners where there's sales reps taking pictures, and often they're instructed to go in, maybe do a before and after of what the shelf looked like, and then they fix it up. Ours, we never touch the shelves, so you get the actual true vision of what the consumer who's standing in front of that set would see. So yeah,
I don't think people appreciate that part of the Michelle. So when I was a buyer, even just 8 years ago when I left. But if I needed to see what stores look like, really what I would have to do is I'd have to send an email to all 78 stores, probably the manager, saying, listen, I need a picture of the coffee set. But, I need it now, right? First off, you're not going to get it now because they're busy. Two, now is after I plug up the holes, fill the shelves.
Yeah, it'll look perfect.
I think, well, fuck, that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see before you fucked around with it. What did it look like? Because my problem is, I can see I have a numbers issue. I'm making assumptions as to what it is. And that reality that you just sent me is not going to be why my numbers are all screwed up.
Yeah.
If it was like that, I wouldn't be calling you.
Exactly.
So what did it look like? What could we have helped with?
Yes.
To up the game a little bit.
Yes, yes, for sure, for sure. Yeah, it's just like Instagram, right? Nobody posts ugly pictures of themselves to Instagram. Most sales folks want, to show
Well,
off
it's all
their work.
pretty stuff, right? That's why you
Yeah.
never told the store you're coming to visit. Why? Well, it wouldn't be the store that you would have seen if I didn't,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Um,
Okay, so we got the Shelfgram description. Do you want to tell us about the customer success bit?
yes,
Yes.
yes. Okay, so when you've kind of had a career like mine where you've worked with some incredible businesses, incredible people, incredible brands, you often get asked, okay, what was the magic sauce? Like, why was Vega so great? Why was Smart Suite so great? Why is Midday Square so great? Whatever it is. And so because I get asked that question a lot, especially when I meet young entrepreneurs because they're building their business, they want to kind of latch onto that. I think about it now every company I go to. And with Shelfgram, I've only been here 120 days now. So my first like 60, 90 days was like my onboarding, really getting a deep understanding of the business, the customer, our platform, all of that, just like learn. And what I came out the other side realizing is that for us and the kind of vision I've set for my role is that our customer success will become our success. And when I say customer to us, that's our brands, right? Like that's these big CPGs or smaller CPGs that we're working with.
Mm-hmm.
But I've clearly understand that if I can help them be successful with Shelfgram, then we're set. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's different than CPG. Like I know account management was important and but this is different because it's from the very first interaction, having a really good demo so they understand the product, make it not feel salesy because it doesn't need to be. The product is so incredible. You either get it or you don't. We can share playbooks and reasons and wins that other customers have had to inspire, but most customers just get it off the start. Then on this customer success journey, like a super awesome onboarding, like make it clear, simple, just get them using the platform as product as soon as possible. And then training. So we make sure there's unlimited training. We do kickoff training calls. We do multiple to make sure everybody has a time available to do the training. Then we offer one-on-one trainings. And this is where some of the magic comes from, is because on these training calls, you get questions like, oh, I wonder if it could do this, or I wish it could do that. And that's what fires us up, because we're like, oh, what a great idea. And then I write it down, I go back to the team and they're like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. It gets put on the roadmap. Like, yeah. Right.
Can we do this?
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you can email the customer and be like, yep, okay, we're doing that. So there's magic in that. And then you also get these one-on-one calls where they're struggling with a business problem. They know Shelfgram can unlock it for them, but they're just not really sure. So they book time with me. We jump on a call. I help them navigate around the platform. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, this is how I can solve it for this. And how rewarding is it for both of us? They go away with this even greater love for the platform. And we go away with insights on how the customer uses it and how we can improve. So it's just this really great cycle that creates growth for us, because it creates stickiness. And I didn't know how passionate I'd be about this part of my job, but it is extraordinary to be kind of this close to the customer and helping them succeed. So I'll pause there, but there's lots more that we're doing on customer success that I just think is really unique to
I think it's
our usual backgrounds.
Yeah, I think it's cool because they really do. We're pretty. We like to think that our days are all different, and they are, but we're pretty habit forming.
Mm-hmm.
So when you don't remember there's a tool there,
yes,
you're just not going to use it, right? And then by the time you remember, it's too late almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I do think of, and then I think of like people that I don't love, but they're almost invasive about how good they are. Is like you think of like a Nielsen, for example. Like Nielsen, you buy in for like hundreds of millions. So it's not even the same pricing categories, but once they're in, they literally embed themselves in everything you have, right? Like if they can find your kidney and find a way to attach themselves, they do, right? So, but it's, like the DNA is there, right? Because then you realize everyone in the company goes, what's the Nielsen say? Even though it's like 30 or 45 days in the past,
it's
right?
like 3 months ago.
What
like
does the
who
Nielsen
cares?
say? What does the Nielsen say, right? So it does feel like the right thing, right? Because now your conversation isn't what was 45 days ago. It's like what happened last weekend, right?
Yeah, 3 days ago. We're getting to hours ago now too.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But I think that's what you want. That's why I never liked Nielsen. That's great. I first off, I know what happened in the past because my numbers are a reflection of the past. So to reiterate what happened in the past, it's yay team. Like past, like 3-4 months ago. Like, who gives a shit? But to your point, it's Monday morning. I look at the numbers. Like, fuck, man, I just spent $10 million in Loblaws on that ad. What happened?
Yeah.
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 And then if you can
30 or 45 days, we'll be able to.
Exactly. And this way, I can go in and say, well. No shit, Sherlock. You see that end that we were supposed to be on? There's nothing there.
Yeah. Well, it solves for so many things, but the ones you're making me think about is like we'll see people with like little second, like 15-second sessions on Shelfgram, and they're just checking a price. So they're probably in a meeting and someone's like, what's the price?
What's the retail in?
Yeah. And then imagine like now some retailers are testing the digital price tags that can change like in the same day, basically.
The frequency ones.
Yeah. So, if we're able to read those, I mean, that's going to be super powerful because they'll be changing often. Just like with online, right? You know how it's online that all the algorithms help the pricing, match and change in real time. That's what they're trying to do with shelf tags.
Which would be pretty cool.
Phil's disgusted.
No, I just so many.
I know the game is changing.
Well, just how fast things go. Like it's just because, you can tell we've all been this way too long. Is because shit that to get things done like 15 years ago, like it was like we thought we were pretty fast. Remember, like we were thinking, and you're thinking now, like you can change instantaneously. Like, I don't like the price in the region, or it's not reacting. Like someone could be sitting at home and literally tap in, and you're done. And then if you do want to check, like you got a crew out there that can, in essence, show that, it's been done.
I have to say,
it's crazy.
I at the risk of, I don't know if this session is going to sound fanboyish because we are fans of Shelfgram, but I think the other thing that I really love is, as a fractional CMO, like we're always thinking about, things that you can do at shelf and things that you can't do at shelf. And so like being able to go into Shelfgram and just look and see, what are people still doing in terms of like aisle invaders or shelf talkers or on shelf signage.
Any disruption? What is it?
Any of those sort of things. And then like, with one of my clients, we're working with PetSmart, you kind of went, what? It doesn't seem like we can do anything, right? So then I was like, hang on a second, let me go look, right? And they're like, what are you going to just drive to a bunch of stores? And I'm like, yeah, I'll be right back. I'm going to go do 30 stores. I'll be right back, right? And I'll call you in 2 weeks, right? But no, like I can go to Shelfgram and look and go, actually, they don't seem to offer a lot of like in-store options, right? But here's the 3 I can see that maybe we can go after, right? So
or is there something that we can do on packaging? Is there something we can do on, is there a display option? Like at least you can start to understand what, so at least wasted a ton of time on shelf talkers if it's a clean shelf policy, or no use doing displays if it's it's a clean floor policy. Like at least you know that.
Yeah.
Before you make assumptions, which we all do.
Totally. And we have like these in our editor's picks sections where we just show you every QR code that AIs capture get pulled into that space, and it's all different categories. And you can then like check out different microsites from that space, whether it's in pet food or bread or wherever, to either see, what's happening in your space or get inspiration from others. We have the same for shelf signage. And then one of my favorites is Beyond North America. So because we collect in 135 countries around the world, we pull all of these images into this complementary space where then you can see, you know, what's happening in coffee in Finland or wherever there's a category best practice in another country, you can visit there and get packaging inspo, merchandising inspiration. Just, I don't know. I really, really like that feature.
I love that.
I like that too, because it's funny because we're in Europe at the end of the month, 2 different places, but I already know that I will be in a lot of retail.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of independent small sites because I just like the pictures because there's always someone does a cool sign.
Yes.
Or they'll display in a different way, or because you're thinking, wow, fuck, I never thought of that. That's because sometimes we're so rigid with shelving, and over there's still so much different mom and poppy. It's different, right?
Yeah.
So you're always trying to grab ideas, but you know, it's not that you can go to Europe every other day just to check, you know, little stores out. Wish we could, but you can't.
Oh my gosh. We used to I remember at J&J, we talk about folks like Tesco or Boots.
Yeah, it's always the same people, right?
And then you'd have to I'd have to go to my global guy, and my global guy would then call the UK guy, who would then call the key account manager on Boots, right? And then
call the sales
by
rep,
the time you do that, you're 2 weeks into this thing, and then you realize he asked the wrong question, right? So now we're going to start all over again. I still don't have pictures, and I still don't know what's happening. You know what?
Yeah, and still don't, right? You're actually worse off.
Yeah. So, no, I think the reason it's sounding so fandom-like is just because it's great. It's just a great platform. So, but there's so many cool retail related things to talk about it that kind of dovetail off of the platform. So hopefully folks are interested in, you know, all of it and all the sidebar conversations.
Is there if I pivot back to the student thing for a second?
Yes.
When they are there limitations for what students are allowed to do in there, or so what's kind of different for students versus kind of like the branded, for a brand experience, if you will?
So with the brand experience, the model works by subscription. So say you're a coffee company, then you get a coffee subscription. And within that annual subscription, you get the ability to do the price checks and the planogram views. Whereas with the student model, it's our open public space, which is a huge vat of images, but you can't do the price checks or the planograms in that. That's with the enterprise level subscription. Yeah. So that's the only thing. You can look at pricing. It just wouldn't pull that, instant Excel download.
The analytics,
right.
You get the circulars though in the student plan, which I think is really important, as we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So they can start understanding the importance of when you spend hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to be on promo, match it up with the store level execution. And I mean, that's where so many of us started, right? Is those marketing basics and selling basics and getting those nailed.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's still important. You're paying for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's bottom line. You're paying for it. I mean, I want to know, did it actually happen?
And I think it comes back to what you said, Phil, the students need to learn what banners are in Canada, which banners are part of which conglomerate, which ones are regional, how does pricing in the West differ from the East, different from the Central? There's all these nuances that we've all learned over time that they have to learn, and this will help them get there faster. Yeah. And depending on how they learn too, right? Some of us can look at a spreadsheet or hear a lecture and learn, but others need to see it, and that's how they're going to learn. So
that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's great. As long as they have that educational email, they'll be able to keep this with them for a while as they progress. So Phil, have any of your students signed up yet?
I don't know. I'm going to ask. Yeah, I'm going to ask to see who's in. Yeah. If they're Centennial College, they're probably, I wouldn't claim. Yeah, they might be my kids. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's super cool. I really, really love that.
Yeah.
And thank you for doing that. I think for students, it really is. There's so few tools that give students access, and yet, you know, like businesses all want practical experience when you get out of school, and you kind of go, how do we, you know, like when I teach SEO, I actually pay for the tools so they can go in and use it, right? Like we don't get student access at all, but you'd think, you know, anyway.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Oh no, our pleasure. Our pleasure. It's even whenever I do trainings for interns, it's some of my favorite, as I mentioned earlier, just seeing their eyes light up, the aha moments. And and also like, I just love people too. So just, you know, encouraging them to, like, I'm not a professor like you, but like encouraging them to speak up and, you know, ask questions, and almost like making everyone ask a question to get them.
You're as much of a prof as me. I'm barely a prof. Like I'm there, I'm amusing most of the time, I think. And then I try not to give them too much homework, and then I try and stretch their brain. So you're
crushing
as much of a prof as I am. So
yeah. Well, just like this podcast, this is so great that you guys have created this for our Canadian retail community. It's just great to be able to spotlight so many awesome entrepreneurs and all the cool stuff that we're doing in this country.
It's fun. I think we take it for granted. I don't think people realize the cool shit that we do actually in this country, and cool businesses we have, and the cool people we have in it. Like, it's a fun, I don't know. I mean, we don't leave it. If you think about it, we've all been in this way too long. And it's hard to think of anything else, because it's sort of it's the people that sort of keep dragging you back in, right?
Yeah.
You may get bored of the industry, but then you can't, because the people are so good, and whatever. You're gonna do something that's nice to do with great people, right?
Yeah. So the kind of on the same trail of education, like I was kind of going through our customer success journey, and the next stop is education and training. So as I mentioned, we do like a lot of training when customers are coming on board, but then also have a really robust learning center where we show them how to use the tool. So we have like little tutorials. Plus, we're creating these playbooks. So, Phil, I don't know if you've seen the playbook section, but what we've done is take best practices where brands have won business by using Shelfgram, take everything confidential out of it, and then put them on the site as playbooks so that we can all kind of learn from each other. Yeah, and there's some really good ones in there, and there's 12 now, but we have, you know, almost 50 ready. We're just going to keep growing and growing, because almost weekly we're getting these killer stories of how brands have won business. So one of my favorites is winning category captaincy by taking their buyer on a monthly store check, right? Because we used to go pick them up in a car and go out. And
you get 6 stores. Just so everybody's clear, like 10 stores was like you killed it. 10 stores, you got everybody angry because now nobody ate lunch, and it was just a shit show, right?
The only people that did that were retailers, because you guys were jerks, right? Because you dress it like retailers would go, come with us on the corporate jet, and everyone go, ooh, let's get on the company plane, and then you'd go and you're like, God, when does it stop? Like, all we've done is fly from place to place to place. Like, there's no time. Like,
that's the point. We're busy. What do you? It's not a holiday.
There's no time to grab a granola bar in the store when you're there. Like this.
Wait, did you get to do that, Phil?
Yeah,
Phil was with Johnson & Johnson. He was a big shot. Remember?
No,
but I didn't know about the private jets.
A couple of retailers, like some of the big guys, like Walmart, has a plane.
Okay.
But so did London. So there were times where you could go to Regina, Saskatoon, Edmonton, Prince George, and Vancouver on the same day.
Wow.
But
because you had a plane. I mean, you could do it. I mean, it made the world whole different.
Yeah.
Now with Shelfgram, see, you can save all that fuel, all that expense, and you could go to 20 times the stores of that in the same day.
Now I know what line item to go after if budget is an issue. Just like
That's it. Just sell the company plane, and we can
just remember,
save you carbon emissions and everything, right? Like,
forget the plane. Michelle's in town, and we're going to go and do store tours, and we're going to go look at Vegas stuff, because that's what you and I bought. I bought from you, right? Mm-hmm. To do that, like seriously, if you came to the city and you and I planned a day to go do that, we would get at worst 5 stores, at best 10.
Yeah.
And that would be from 8 till 6. And we'd probably spend more time driving than we would doing walking a store.
Yeah.
So if you look at the strict, just inefficiencies of the old way, like if I can sit with you for the morning and go through 50 stores and then say, okay, you know what? Because I'm very tactile. Now let's go do the 3 stores, the 3 worst stores we saw here. And tomorrow we'll do the 3 best stores. But just that alone, like it just changes. It just changes everything. Like you could just do so much more, or go into a store with so much more insight. Because that was a problem with it in the old days, is that you grab the insight from the store, which means you probably had to go do it again.
Yes.
Like, and who's got time to take 3 days, 4 days to do what you should be able to do in a couple hours? If I had it in front of me.
And the build on that is that was you and me. What about the rest of the team who needs to have this insight as well? So now we need. Well,
that was up to you and I to kill ourselves and then disseminate that as best we can. Without filtering too much of ourselves into it.
Exactly. So that's where Shelfgram, like you can have everyone there understanding that ground truth together.
Exactly.
Instead of like, this is what we saw. It's like, this is what the collective we saw.
Collective we.
Yeah. Totally. So it's it's pretty revolutionary for the store check.
No, it's pretty cool.
Pretty
cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so yeah, training and learning center, all important in the customer success, which I think, is really helpful for our clients. And then staying really close to them, because as I said, this valuable feedback of, I wish it could do this. Can it do this? Those are the ways we get better and better, because our power users are the ones that are often coming up with the best ideas. So you need to have like a clear way for them to communicate and feel that kind of open communication with the brand. And I think we're used to, a lot of these software or SaaS products where you sign up and then you never hear from anybody unless you have a glitch or something, right? It's
right. And even then
to offer this level of, not support. I feel support is more reactive. This is more proactive.
Right.
So can I ask, well, maybe if we go big to small, so if you're a big company, a J&J, Procter, these guys, who's the audience? Like, obviously, VP of sales and your head of marketing both will see value in this, but are you working with like brand managers and key account folks day to day? Who is in there? Like, who do you see? Like, no proprietary information, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering who you see offtake from the most.
It's Catman. So category management, brand management teams, insights, and then innovation. But Catman and insights are usually power users, then sales, and then more general marketing. But the Catman brand managers, yeah. And then because we have the mobile app, we're having more and more sales teams adapt it to upload, because say they're using a different platform to share pictures from the field. Now those can all come into Shelfgram as well. So we're getting more and more uptake from the sales team. So say start with Catman and then it spreads within the organization. And we have, some DSD teams with over 700 people using the app to upload photos. So that just helps give more images to their robust
craziness
image bank. Yeah. So it's really neat in that way.
Do you see a difference in a medium and a small size company? Are there different users that go in? Because our audience is going to be small, medium, right? So, and I think
this is my worry with it, Phil. If I don't, because I was going to get into this, but I didn't want to. I think the challenge I've always had with this one is that this is really great for the J&Js, the Procters, the Loblaws, the Sobeys. These are huge companies. They have money, they have the resource, they have the budgets, And even when you get into medium, if we're talking medium, we're talking Friesen and Farm Boys and Longos. Those are medium large, right? Because most of the people, 80% of the business in this country are one location, 2 locations max. Do you know what I mean? So, and the brands might have 80% of the brands or 90% of the brands might be in 100 or less stores, not chains, like physical, actual brick and mortar stores. So how does, I think the challenge I've always had with this was always, it's a great tool. I just wish it had broader reach, because most of the businesses we talk to or even personally work with don't have necessarily the budgets to play as a J&J or as a Loblaw.
Totally. And with Bram being an entrepreneur, Field Agent, Jeff being an entrepreneur, and myself pretty much being an entrepreneur, we have so much heart for this size of business. And,
and they need you the most.
Yeah. And we've heard you, Kenny, you've said this to me before, and Phil as well. And I think you said it to Bram, and we hear it. And so we're actually working on something now to be able to support those types of businesses. So I guess if anyone hears this and is interested, they can find me on LinkedIn. And we're just creating the program over the next couple of months. So it's not ready now, but we're definitely working on it. So good for them to reach out, stay in touch.
Awesome.
And But
you do have so I've been in there, and you do have Kenny, they've got 1 million health food stores. So, the folks that would listen to this podcast that would go, well, what about the Nature's Emporiums of the world, of the Healthy Planets? They're in there. So if you guys if you think this is kind of I can only go here to check Walmart, Rexall, Loblaws, it's not really true. Healthy Planet's in there. Nature's Emporium is in there. You can see what's happening in those stores.
And I think that's what I'm looking for. Even again, because a Healthy Planet is still 30 stores. It's still a larger chain.
Yeah.
Is can we see what Famous Foods is doing? Can you see what O'Donnell's is? Can you see what the Big Carrot is?
You can see what Stong's is doing.
That type of thing.
Pictures from Stong's, right? And that's pretty small. Stong's.
That's only 3 stores, right? And that's sort of
what I'm saying, right? So you can't, if you're small, medium, and you're listening to this, you really need to go. You owe it to yourself to take a look, because I think
you got to play with this. I think you should look at it.
Graham is surprising. I think Michelle is surprising. I think you're going to see with what's going on here that there's going to be a lot of flexibility for what happens, right? It's kind of cool how many.
Well, you think about it,
Phil, you've got the Big Apple in here. Who would have?
Can you imagine if Karen from Bloom had this? We always talk about Karen from Bloom, because that young woman went mental. I mean, she got 1,000 stores on her own before she gets a broker and all that stuff, right? But can you imagine if someone like her had a tool like this for the stores she was in? She wasn't in the big chains, but if she had access like that, I'm just thinking of the time that it probably could have saved her, or how much quicker she potentially could have got to. Because it's when you're physically having to go out and look at this, and it's so much time.
Yes.
So much time. And most small entrepreneurs are doing that. They're going to smaller locations. But, again, how many stores can you see in a day? 10?
Yeah. Well, and our country's very wide. So
it's massive. Our cities are bad enough. When I go to Toronto, where you guys are I'm always getting mad at him. Oh, it's around the corner. What corner? Yeah. It's 25 minutes away.
Well, we talk about that because he goes around the corner from Vancouver as you walk, right? And I'm like, there's no such thing here. So around the corner,
there's no
right?
Corner.
I'm sorry, stop complaining. It's just you drive.
So I think first stop is sign up for our free plan through LinkedIn, because see what you've got there. And then, reach out to me if there's interest, because we collect by category. We don't collect the whole store. So that's where, you might see some health food stores, but is it the right category? It all depends on what they're looking for. So it's good to have the conversation, start building the relationship, and then keep everyone
building it. Yeah, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Great
exciting
tool.
stuff. Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. It was really nice to see you.
Yeah,
great
to see you guys.
Yeah.
Really good to see you. And
and then come back. So if gosh, it might be tomorrow you have new innovation already. So whenever you want to come back, just ping us and we can do a short recording. We'll throw it up on YouTube so people kind of know
Be cool to do a quick demo, like on the next one, Phil. Like, you know, like even if 10-minute YouTuber, right? Just show people.
Be really cool. Yeah.
And maybe because you know, we both came from buying and retail, like we were all in that. So it's even sometimes just to give an idea of what we would be looking at. Like if I was still buying or Cat Manning, like what would I look at? Like why would I find, like why do I love this kind of tool?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. We could have just pick a theme kind of
whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would love that.
I love that too.
So fun.
Awesome. You know, when you and I start doing it, it's rabbit holes, right? I could spend 6 days doing this thing.
We did one on Easter, and
well, then we rabbit holed. I think we probably end up in Halloween before you know it, because I can't focus, because now I'm wandering 5,000 stores. I mean, it's so much easier than it used to be.
Yeah. It's so many insights though, even out of that time we did it. So yeah, that would be really fun. But I love what you guys are doing. I respect you guys so much, and just really, really enjoy hanging out with you. So thanks for having me. And
anytime, you come back anytime
you want.
Seriously. Okay. We like it too. We really like it. So
yeah.
Okay. Same.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle.
Right. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Okay. You too.
Thank you as well.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.